There we are. Hi, everybody. My name is G Brown, G Brown, the lifestyle changer. And I am super excited about today. Robin and I and some others, we went to Hack Your Health. We ran into a gentleman and he was a little flustered at the moment, right? He was a little flustered. We were so intrigued. He was saying things that we have not heard. Um, and we found ourselves talking about him days after. So we reached out to him and his publicist to set up something because we wanted to know more. Now, with that being said, we're going to hear it just like you're going to hear it. So get excited, okay? Because I'm excited. And Robin is going to tell you a little bit about him. Go ahead, Robin.
Hey, everybody. Good morning and good evening and welcome from wherever you are. If you are watching this live, give us a thumbs up in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video because I think it's going to be super interesting and super exciting. We are here today with Benjamin Smith. Benjamin Smith is a certified wellness expert and author of a new book called Why Are You Sick? So if you're curious to find out why you're really sick, Benjamin's going to tell us about it today. So Benjamin, he's a wellness coach. He wrote this amazing book, and we want to bring him on and give him a chance to introduce himself before we get into this. So let me bring him up.
Oh,
hey,
okay.
Benjamin.
Yay!
Welcome.
Hi.
We're so happy to have you
I
here.
know.
So excited to
happy.
see you guys.
Yeah, it's good to see you again, Benjamin. So when we met you, you were talking to us about some very interesting things. But why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself so we can let the audience get to know you?
Yeah, my name is Benjamin Smith, and I'm a certified health coach with Primal Health Coaching. Certified, well, I want to say certified alternative wellness expert, but I am an alternative wellness expert, and I've been interested in health my whole life, and it's all started when I was a kid. My dad, I always ask my dad questions. And hi to everyone who's watching me. My stepmom's watching me. My dad's gonna watch me in a minute here soon, but and whoever else is watching me around that I know. But yeah, I ask my dad questions all the time. Like, why is the sky blue? Why do plants grow? I always wanted to know. And so what happened was it's just been a lifelong journey of learning. But so basically I went to high school, obviously graduated high school, then went to college. I took a lot of science classes. I liked science a lot. Meteorology, biology, sociology, just the way everything worked was fascinated me. And so after high school, I got a job, after college, I got a job cleaning carpets. And I liked the fact that I was not in an office or whatever. And then my friend said one day, he said, "You want to clean cars and detail cars?" I said, "Okay." Not knowing anything about how to clean cars. And so the first car I cleaned was horrible, but 30 years later, I've cleaned 5,000 cars.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, that's my job up till now. And so I became an expert at auto appearance and worked for insurance companies doing claims works and investigating things because I had the knowledge. But all along that time, I was interested in health. And so about 10 years ago, I'd say about 15 years ago, one of my sisters was diagnosed with a C word. And we all know what that word is. And I don't like to say the word, ladies, because and we can talk about this later, but it brings negative connotations to the conversation. And when you've read my book, I talk about how consciousness and water and all these things affect everything else. So by saying negative words, it destructures my water. We can talk about that later. So, but we all know what that C word is. Okay.
Right.
And
it's my zodiac sign. However you choose. See, just change it. It's my zodiac sign.
There you go. So, so she was diagnosed, and I'm like, whoa, this is not cool. So I just started reading everything I could about health and and wellness, but I've also been doing that before that too. Just interested, passing, in time, my time reading stuff about health. But then she passed away in 2012, and I thought to myself, this ain't cool. I said, I don't think the body wants to kill itself. What's going on here? So I started researching all I could about health. In the meantime, my mom, my real mom, my stepmom was watching, but my real mom got diagnosed with the C word in 1985. And then she was fine for 40 years, and she passed away in 2019. And along the way, a lot of other people I knew had cancer, or just, I don't want to say the word, but had problems with this disease and other diseases. I'm like, I just got fed up. I'm like, what's going on? So I just kept reading and reading. And I thought, okay, I'm going to be a health coach. So I went to Primal Health Coaching, got my certificate, and go, I don't want to babysit people and ask them how many Cokes they drank one day. And they say, John, great job. Drink one less Coke the next day. I didn't have the patience for that. So my friend said, why don't you write a book? I said, okay, I'll write a book. Oh my God.
So that pretty much
says it all. That says it all. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was 3 or 4 years of excruciatingly difficult work. And a lot of celebrities write books, and there's tons of books out there, and people see a book, go, oh, they wrote a book. A lot of these books, I believe, especially celebrities, they don't really write them. They have ghostwriters write them, and they get paid for it. So they don't even do the work. They maybe talk for 10 hours to the ghostwriter about things, and then it's written. I did the same thing. I obviously had to have a ghostwriter too, because and you've read my book, trying to compile all this information into a book was excruciatingly difficult. So the first ghostwriter I had was horrible. They couldn't put 2 sentences together.
Wow.
It cost me like $1,500, and we had some discussions from my book. They wrote me the first chapter. I swear to God, Robin, it was a 3rd grader could have wrote better. I was appalled.
Wow.
I was like, are you kidding me? And then they had the nerve to say, well, we can rewrite it. I said, you can't write.
Okay. So let me ask you real quick, Benjamin, because you are really hitting on question number 1, which was what inspired you to write Why Are You Sick? And develop your ultimate health model. So all of what you're saying. So it's my zodiac sign that kind of brought you into the lives of these different people. And I think that's fascinating that just seeing that, pierce something inside of you to where you wanted to. I did that with law enforcement. Yeah, growing up, we had 2 tragic murders. One was my stepfather, and one was a close family friend. They were murdered, and I thought the police were like, you guys aren't using your common sense on this. So I do understand how that can push you. Let's just start with number 2. Can you describe the key components for your health model in regards to your book with the ultimate health model? What are your key components?
So I don't know, can you guys bring that up on the screen to share screen, and they can see it while we're talking about it?
Okay.
It's on the website?
Yeah, ultimatehealthmodel.com.
Yeah.
Hold on, that's not
wait. Hold on. I really want to get into this picture too, guys.
Okay, well, we don't have to do that one now. We'll bring up the other one.
Yeah,
okay.
I do want to get that picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring this up. Hold on one second. Here we go.
Because when I talk about it, it's a lot easier for them to understand what's going on. So let's okay, so there's the green side of the model, okay, and there's also a red side. So we can let's talk about the red side first, and then blow that up, and then we'll talk about the green side, because it's kind of the opposite, and blow it up so people can see it and see those factors, everything there.
It's not that. Let's see if I can make it bigger. Huh?
It should be something on there that says, or hit your plus sign.
Plus,
You think the people can read it, the viewers right now?
Well, or they can go to the thing. But if you can't, go ahead and just talk about it. It depends
Okay.
on how big their screen is.
Okay, so the underlying core factors of this model that I created are those circles. Okay, that's what's going on in the background 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in your body to different degrees. So what does that mean? That means if they can see this, or like I said, if they're watching, they probably should go to ultimatehealthmodel.com and so they really understand this, because this is the core of everything of our mission. So chronic dehydration is on. First of all, cellular oxidative stress is in the middle. Okay, and everybody knows what most people in the medical community, a lot of other normal folk know what that means. That means you're causing oxidative cellular stress, meaning oxidation stress. What does that mean? So I write in the book, I don't know if you guys remember that part. I write, stress is like your body's cells are crying. Just like when you feel stress, you cry. There are, if you want, so I make a lot of analogies in my book, as you guys might remember when I was reading. Remember? So I use all these analogies to make it simple for people to understand. So cells are crying. You don't want your cells crying. You want them happy. So what's going on is all those things around it are causing them to cry. Okay. So you have chronic inflammation, you have chronic dehydration, you have a dysfunctional mitochondria, and that's been in the news lately. And we'll talk more about mitochondria later, how important they are and what they really do. And you have immune system suppression. They all go together all the time, instantaneously. Work, and that's why all those the arrows are around them. See how the arrows are all omnidirectional?
Yes.
Because you could have chronic dehydration and then you have dysfunctional mitochondria, but then you have dysfunctional mitochondria, and then you have immune system suppression. It's all working all the time, instantaneous, and it's instantaneous. That's why they're hoping in the future I'm hoping they can make a device that can measure these things instantaneously. Then everyone's health problems would maybe be cured. I mean, I don't know, but it's an impossibility right now because all these things are happening instantaneously, okay, to different degrees. Now, what does that do? That contributes, it doesn't cause, it contributes to every chronic problem you have. Now, what does that mean? Arthritis, gout, fibromyalgia, MS, Alzheimer's. I don't care what it is. You could put, and so let's just put, for example, let's put the term Crohn's disease in that top box.
Okay.
Just pretend. There's your answer to what, and I'm not saying what causes it, because there's a lot of things that cause it in those red factors that we'll discuss. So all these things come together, and that is one of the main contributing factors to that particular issue, as well as any issue. So this applies to any chronic condition known to man.
Now, what is this website again?
ultimatehealthmodel.com.
Model, that's the word I'm missing. Okay.
Yeah, ultimatehealth.com. Now, so what causes these issues? Okay. Can you see that? Because I'm away from my computer for a little bit, Rob, and
yes, I can read it.
Okay, I have these red light glasses on. We'll talk about later too.
Yeah. Okay.
I can't see it. So run down the list from top to bottom, and we'll discuss them and how they basically just do everything in the circles. So they're not really much to discuss, but we can discuss how kind of they interrelate and stuff like that. So start at the top, and we'll go down.
I'm actually trying to make it bigger. So keep going.
Negative thoughts and emotions.
Okay, stop there. What does that do? Now that you're looking at the model, it's a blueprint. What does negative thoughts and emotions do? This is a kind of a test, ladies. What is negative? So if the model is correct, which in my opinion it is, and I've cross-referenced it hundreds and hundreds of times, if you have negative thoughts and emotions, that's going to affect your mitochondria.
That's what I was thinking.
And what's that going to do? That's going to cause chronic dehydration. And what's that going to do? That's going to cause oppression of the immune system. What's that going to do? That's going to cause chronic inflammation. So we go from, that's why this is so, I don't know. I talk to my mom about this all the time. I don't know how I created this. It's inspiration from the great beyond. I don't know. I'm like, sometimes I go, how did I figure this out? But anyway, so there you go. So chronic or negative thoughts and emotions can actually cause immune system suppression, which has been documented in the literature. Read some studies about it. I've read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies. And every time I read, there you go. Every time I read something, it's backed up of what I say. So you can go to the next one.
Chronic stressors, physical, emotional, mental.
Okay. So what's that do? They're all the same thing. See how they're all the same thing? So it's kind of it's an experiment, and it's research right in my model. Researchers could look at my model and go, oh, let's look into, how dysfunctional mitochondria is caused by emotional stress. So there's a lot to glean from this. Does that make sense?
All right. So, the next one is chronic mouth breathing.
Oh, that's a good one that not many people know about. And as I wrote in my book, as you guys have read, that is one of the main problems that people are suffering from, and they have no effing idea.
Wow.
Remember you read the book. You remember what? So if chronic mouth breathing causes dehydration because you're losing too much moisture, but what it's also doing is causing inflammation because it's causing oxidative stress. Why is that happening? As I said in my book that you guys read, the reason you breathe, ladies, what do you think the reason you breathe is? Remember this in the book? Trick question, ladies.
Now look, you should have told me you was gonna test me now.
Trick question.
Taking notes.
The reason you breathe is to expel carbon dioxide, not to take it.
That's right. You remember? I remember now.
Wait, I was gonna actually, yeah, I do remember. It is. It's not necessarily. Okay.
It's to breathe out
oxygen.
It is to release carbon dioxide.
Right. Yep. I do recall that. And I guess my initial thought was
still taking in oxygen.
Yeah. And so what that means is this: the oxygen saturation in your blood stays relatively constant or you die. So even somebody, I write this in the book, even someone with a 90% oxygen saturation that's measured at the doctor's office is obviously still alive, but then they might have emphysema or some really bad, bronchial problems. But that's 90%, and it's causing problems. You want to be you want your oxygen saturation to be 98 to 99%. What's it, 92, 94? You think, oh, that's a lot. It's in the 90s. That's not good enough. So how does that work? So, and I wrote this in the book, and you guys hopefully remember that carbon dioxide and oxygen compete on the red blood cells for space. Remember that? And so remember how I wrote in the book, why do people, when they're hyperventilating, tell them to breathe into a paper bag? Because you're breathing back in the carbon dioxide to build up the carbon dioxide levels in the blood. That way, it's like a bus. Then the oxygen goes, the carbon dioxide goes, I want to sit on the red blood cell. I'm getting on. Get off, oxygen. The oxygen gets off and goes to the tissues. If there's not enough carbon dioxide in the blood, the oxygen goes, you know what? I'm gonna take a cruise around around the bloodstream of the body, and I'm not jumping off. Screw the cells. I'm making analogies because I love to make analogies to make things simple for people to understand.
Yes.
So you breathe out carbon dioxide because the mitochondria, our favorite word, makes carbon dioxide. So when you eat food in the form of sugar, fat, or protein, the body takes those substrates along with oxygen. Remember we talked about you don't have enough oxygen. So if you're mouth breathing, you're low on oxygen, you're going to have what? Dysfunctional mitochondria. So if if you have dysfunctional mitochondria and the mitochondria is making water, we'll talk about that later too, which is fascinating. So in the process of metabolism, you take the substrate plus oxygen, and then you make carbon dioxide, water, and ATP energy. Now, if those mitochondria are dysfunctioning or damaged in some way, then you're not making enough carbon dioxide. Then you have less carbon dioxide in the blood. You have more inflammation. It's a vicious circle because all these things are connected.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that water was one that got us that had
Excited.
help. Go ahead, Robin.
So the next one, and I'm really interested in this because I definitely struggle with this, but it's lack of sufficient quality sleep.
Okay. So that's on the model too. So, now that you've seen the model, a lot of people can, and I write that in the book, you can answer your own questions. So if you put insomnia in that top box, you see how you can answer your own questions?
Mm-hmm.
So what's causing your insomnia, you think, Robin? It's those things on the red side that you're not aware of, that you're doing. And in the book, we say, do as many things on the green side as you can.
Right.
And as few things on the red side as you can. Now, I'm not perfect. I'm on my phone. I'm on my computer. So I'm on the red side. But I mitigate things. These glasses and we'll talk about this and this necklace. All these things are on the website as affiliates and recommendations for people who go there, buy my book, or go to the website to purchase these things because they're so important for your health. And we're going to talk about these glasses too, because red light and blue light, the imbalance causes disruptions of circadian rhythm. And that is one of the major factors that's contributing to an epidemic of chronic disease that nobody talks about. Okay, because it's messing up your circadian rhythms. What are your circadian rhythms? That's that biological clock. I was talking to my mother the other day about this, my stepmother. Imagine going into a store, a factory, or a business, right? And everyone's working, but they don't know what time it is. They don't know what to do. Everyone's running around with like a chicken with their head cut off. No one knows what to do because there's nothing structured.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's happening in the cells. Now, this is yeah. I told you I know a lot. I do a lot of reading, as you can see. So what's happening in the cells is you have a master clock that's in the brain called the hypothalamus, and you have secondary clocks in every one of your cells, of your 50 trillion cells. They have to coordinate. So when they coordinate, you go on the green side, you reduce inflammation, you reduce chronic stress, you increase hydration. Now, this is also important, ladies. The older you get, the more you better be reading my book, first of all, or you better be doing things on the green side. Why is that? Because the more older you get, the more chronic inflammation's built up in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're a kid, you can eat cheeseburgers, talk on the phone up to your ear. You don't have to get on the sun. It doesn't matter because the mitochondria are so healthy and they're so and you have a ton of structured water in your body. We'll talk about that later. But so did that make sense? So a lot of people, this is another thing that really kind of upsets me. You hear this all the time, Robin, Gia. They say, well, I'm getting older, my metabolism's slowing down. No,
Yeah.
Yes.
It's because chronic inflammation's going up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
No, that's one of the things that we do talk about. We say how that normally people say, well, when you start approaching 40, your eyesight, and I said, no, your body can no longer take everything
All
that
the
you are
abuse
like
you're throwing at it, all the abuse you're throwing at it.
Absolutely.
Your body's a perfect machine. Nature's a perfect machine. Everything's perfect. It does not do anything. Let me repeat, anything out of place. Anything.
Okay.
It's always trying to maintain itself and its homeostasis. And if you want to throw stuff at it through the red side, it will pivot and do what it has to do. If you dehydrate yourself, it will cause inflammation because what's happening, here's what's happening with dehydration. It's the body's water management system. So this is really important too. I was talking with, I'm not going to name any names of podcasters, but they were completely incorrect. But they said, well, when you go on a low carb diet, you lose a lot of water. So you're dehydrated. And he said, when you start eating a bunch of carbs, you gain water. I'm like, okay, those are not compatible. That's apples and oranges. When you go on a low carb diet or keto or a carb, you lose water because the body doesn't need the water. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you go on a high carb diet, people, oh, I'm retaining all this water and fluid, edema. You're holding on to water because you're stressing out the body.
Interesting.
People are like, boom, because I mean, this is stuff no one's ever. They might have heard of it, but they haven't put together like I have.
Right.
I mean, all I do all day is think. Unfortunately for me, it's a curse and a blessing because all I do is think. Now, so what does that mean? So what water does, it's a water management system. The body's always under a water management and drought system, right? All 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's always managing water. So when you do things on the red side and chronically dehydrate yourself, the body pivots. It produces endorphins, cortisone, vasopressin, these different hormones, because it has to have a certain supply of water. So when you dehydrate all the time, it has to go into management mode, right? And so what it's doing is it's pulling water out of external tissues like your skin and giving it to the parts that are super important, like your brain, your heart, your lungs, blah, blah, blah. The body's not stupid at all. It's beyond intelligent.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it's doing. So all of us in our modern world, and here's the thing about water too. Don't think that eating your fruits and vegetables is giving you water, because that's 30% of your water intake. It's not, it's so you can eat the fruits and vegetables, but you need to drink water, and structured water at that. Another thing about water.
What does that mean?
Don't just glass over that one, because so I'm going to just read the next one, because you're kind of getting into this consuming mineral depleted water, right? So the water needs to be structured. So we know what that means.
All right. So let me say another thing about water that most people don't know. So what do you think the main fuel of the brain is? There's only a couple of questions on this test, ladies, but there's another question.
I'm going to say it's water, because that's one of the things that they even tell us. You can go 40 days without eating, but 3 days without some water. So things start happening to you. So yeah.
Okay, you got that question right. So yes, so a lot of people think sugar, glucose. Your brain needs glucose to function, needs ketones to function, blah, blah. Yes, it does need those things. But water, remember in my book how I wrote there's cell members, receptors on the cell membranes. And remember how it's called the glycocalyx. So all these things together on the membranes, the insulin receptors, the LDL, whatever it is, there's hundreds of these things stuck on the membranes. And that's how cells communicate. It's through this glycocalyx layer and the structural water layer. So there's proteins and receptors on the cell membrane that spin like this. Remember I wrote that in the book? And so when you have water, when you drink water and you're hydrated, you basically turn some of these receptors to make ADP or GDP. It's not ATP. I'm not positive about this. So if someone scientist wants to yell at me, that's fine. I don't claim to know every enzyme. Okay. So it spins and that creates energy. So a mineral attaches to this receptor on the cell membrane. That's why you need minerals too, because they attach to the membrane or the receptor. It spins. Remember, I read in the book, just like a hydroelectric energy, like a dam.
Mhm.
It spins, and with the water going, it's spinning around, creating energy. When I read that, I was like, oh my
Amazing.
God. I was blown away. I was blown away.
Yeah.
And that is energy that doesn't produce waste products like eating sugar or other things. And fats doesn't produce as much waste as sugar. Sugar
Okay.
produces fat, on your body,
Mhm.
but water is a clean energy. It's just, the body is just incredible.
So you're telling me that water is an energy source. It is. So this is I think this for me is a new concept. We think about, macros, right? So protein and fat and carbohydrate as energy sources. But what you're saying is that water is the primary energy source.
That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
Okay. So I still want to know the structured water.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Let's go to that. That's a long topic. So
give me the short version.
The Cliff Notes version.
Yes,
We're
because
gonna have to-
so in reading the book, you hit some words and no, I did not retain everything, but what I can tell you, no, because that's a read.
It's a lot in there. There's so much.
It is.
That every time you read it, you're going to get something else out of it.
And the thing is, guys, if you guys have not, if you're thinking about picking this book up, it's a very easy read. It's not like hard to read, but there is a lot of information in there. It's packed.
But I make a lot of analogies to make things understandable for a fifth grader.
Yeah, it was
That's
really,
why
really
I
good.
did that. So we'll talk about stretch water, and we might want to do this again, because there's so much to talk about, and my head has so many bits of information that we'd be here for 10 hours trying to talk.
Yeah,
so
right.
the Cliff Note version. Structured water is water found in nature. So what does that mean? A river flows like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Side to side. What's that doing? It's structuring water. How's that working? Well, it's taking sunlight, and we do need to talk about sunlight in these classes because this is critical a little bit later. Taking sunlight, electromagnetic energy, minerals, oxygen, and vortexing.
Mm-hmm.
And that structures water. Okay. Why is that important? Okay, listeners, listen to this. The structure is what matters most. It's not the element. Did you guys hear that? The structure. So I'm not saying the elements don't matter. Oxygen, silica, calcium. I don't care, whatever the mineral, whatever it is, iron. It's the structure of it that determines its function mostly. And I'm using these loose terms mostly because people are going to be like saying, he's wrong. Well, okay, but whatever. So it's the structure determines it. Now, what do I mean by that? You take carbon. You know what carbon is, right?
Okay, but right now, for just the person listening, it sounds like I need to go to the river or the creek and get some water and drink. And so
you don't need to do that. I'm trying to explain what structured water is, though. That's what it's we're leaving. Okay. So it's the structure that makes a difference. Now, so this is part of what we're talking about. Carbon is dirt.
Right.
Carbon is also graphite, a pencil lead.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a diamond. Remember I write that in the book? What's the difference? It's the structure of the way the molecules are arranged together.
Mm-hmm.
When water is structured, it's structured together in different patterns, just like carbon. Water is a liquid crystal. That's proven. That's not me saying that. And they're working on ways to use water as a computer because water can store quadrillions and infinite amount of information. And we can talk about that if you want to. So What does that mean? It means that water structures in these patterns. Okay, 1 billion times, trillion times a second, it's moving together. It's like an alphabet. Okay, so so inside your body, that's the main job of your body, is to structure as much water as possible. I remember I write that. So your blood vessels are just like rivers.
Okay.
Do you understand that? So
Yeah.
so the viewers, why is that? Because the blood's mostly water. And so I had this epiphany that one day, years ago, hey, if a river is water and blood's mostly water, and there's electromagnetic energies in the blood and minerals, maybe it's doing the same thing as a river. So it is. Inside your blood vessels, the blood is going like this, like a vortex.
Oh, wow.
Another mind blower. So, and they can't see that when they open a blood vessel because the water's gone, right? But they've been able to study it recently in recent times. They've been able to see that in vivo, meaning in an actual body that's doing this. And so that's the main job of the body is to structure as much water as possible, because that passes information and holds information. And the body, like I wrote, is one giant computer.
Mm-hmm.
The more
remember that.
Okay, remember that? The more structured water you have, most likely the longer you're going to live. So here's another thing. You don't age because you lose structured water. Oh, wait, you age because you lose structured water, not the other way around.
Okay, so the way that you just explained it, because people had not read the book, and I like having conversations where I know nothing to break it down. All right, so you were looking at an actual natural river, and you said some things like the sunlight. I'm like, yes, all of that is important, because a lot of times they're like, go out and ground yourself, get the sunlight. So what is the best type of water to take in so your body can
Structure it.
structure? There you go. I was going to say vortex. I'm like, that's not the word I'm looking for. Structure.
It's going to vortex it anyway, I think.
Right. But
structure.
You want to take, no, that's a good question, ladies. So what you want to do is you want to take water that's already structured in, because it's less work for your body to structure it. So when I write in my book, approximately 50% of your energy goes to structuring water. If you drink it structured, that's less energy for the body to structure it. The molecules are, the water molecules are in smaller clusters, meaning they're able to hydrate the cells better. So between bulk water, which is not structured, which might be tap water or destructured water, or structured water, the clusters are smaller. So structured water is maybe 6 to 10 molecules approximately, and maybe bulk water is like 100. That's more difficult to get into the cell. So when structured, and so when you drink structured water or energized, magnetized water that's loved, anything that's structured, you're going to hydrate yourself better. So people, if they go buy these on the website, we have a device from a company called MEA. And that's the one I use, and my mom uses. My mom's obsessed by structured water. She knows. And so are other people that learn about it. His device, so he has these devices that spin the water, but it's also got minerals in it, in the device. So it's basically 2 bottles, right? You put water in one bottle, and it's kind of like a cylindrical bottle, and it goes through this device and then spins and goes in the bottle below. What's in this little device in the middle is magnets, electromagnetic energy, like we talked about, and minerals. Now, what's interesting about the minerals, and I wrote this in the book, the minerals aren't in the water, it's the energetics of the minerals. So when you put minerals in this device on the edges of it, or around it, or in it, or energetically in it, it goes into the water too, because water, it doesn't have to be in the water, it just energetically has to be there. I know that's woo-woo, and people are like, what's this guy talking about? Read about it. But it's
let me ask you this question about this, because what we do is take our water, whether it be bottled water or tap water, whatever, we add the minerals to it,
Mhm.
electrolytes, and um, and if I hear you correctly, that is not sufficient to actually structure the water so that your body can take it in.
No, that's not what I'm saying. No,
No, okay.
no, it's how to it's no, it's the more you can do to structure it, the better off you are. Does that make
Okay.
sense,
Mm-hmm.
Gia?
Mhm.
The more so, yes, minerals because what minerals water structures around minerals, right? So think of a snowflake. Snowflake's a piece of dust. Dust is a mineral. When you see a snowflake and they do microscope, you see it through a microscope, it's all pretty and and they're beautiful. It's all structured water. So it's structured around minerals. But also in nature, you have electromagnetic energy, sunlight, oxygen. It's vortexing, it's spinning in the air. It's everything's just connected. So back to what you're saying about if you just drink water, put some minerals in it, you can do that. Yeah,
Mhm.
sea salt, like I write in the book, sea salt, Himalayan salt, maybe a piece of lemon because lemon has minerals in it. Bless your water. Why do the ancients bless their water? Remember I write that in the book?
Mhm.
They bless water for the hell of it. Excuse my language. Because the ancients knew water's life, water's consciousness, water's everything. You need to write on your water bottle, I love you. If you don't make best friends with your water, you're in trouble. I know
So
it's
I
not.
need to ask you something,
Yeah,
Ben. So, years ago,
yeah.
I have a filtration system, zero water. That's what it's called. And because I don't like the way that this water tastes so good to me. Oh my God. And so normally what I do, we have a huge filtration system at the side of the sink and two in the refrigerator if you just want your water cold. I do from the machine. I even take that and put it into my ice maker to
Mm-hmm,
make my own ice cubes.
mm-hmm.
And then I take that water and what's that hydrogen little thing that I'll
Hydrogen.
hydrogenate that. So I push that, put that in the refrigerator. And so it's a lot of stuff going. Am I structuring some water here or what am I doing? Because it tastes good.
So what you're doing is you're removing a lot of the impurities, right? The toxins in the water. Tap water has pesticides. There's pharmaceuticals. You've heard about all that. People
Mhm.
dump their prescriptions in the toilet, and then it goes to the processing plant, the water processing plant. It can't take everything out. There's
Correct.
no way.
It's called
Um,
that acceptable amount.
okay, if you want, yeah, it's not acceptable to me. So,
I
and
say the same thing.
yeah, who acceptable to who? So, anyway, um, yes, what you're doing is you're removing the impurities, but it's destructuring the water. So when water goes through pipes at right angles, it's destructuring it. Remember how water flows like this in a river
Uh-huh.
and in your blood?
Hmm.
Just
Mhm.
gentle. Because this vortexing is what's creating matter too. Everything in life is a vortex. It's the Fibonacci sequence. It's all these kind of mathematical, spiritual. It all comes together. So this pattern is what's creating matter. So
Wow.
so that's so what you're saying. So yeah. So if you filter it, it's better than not. But if you bless it, if you put other things in it, and you drink it pre-structured with this device, um, it's even better. I mean, if you buy this device, Gia, I'm telling you, my mom was obsessed. My stepmom, they're obsessed.
You said it's
And
on your website, right?
yeah, it's the MEA device, and you're gonna see the taste tastes like spring water. I mean, it literally tastes because it's structuring the water so it can hold information and light because light's information. And like I said, is that when everything's structured like that, it's able to hold more information and light and energies. Everything works better than if it's destructured. It's called when things are structured, it's syntropy, When things are destructured, it's entropy. Your viewers might have heard these words before.
Mm-hmm.
You heard that word before? Entropy
Yeah.
is the breakdown of things, and syntropy is the structure of things. So that we have the glasses there first, which we can talk about that either now or we can do another podcast, whatever. The grounding is super important. The third one there is that device. That's for
Right.
your
That's
whole.
what I'm
That's for
on
your
now.
whole home. That's for your whole home. And then they also, if you go to their website, they have portable ones, and that's the one I have because I live in an apartment, so I have a portable one, but it does the same thing basically as that one does. Is it structures the water, and when it structures water, also what it does, it creates a negative charge. Why is that important? So the body runs on electricity, electronicity. That's what. So yeah, you could see. Go down. There'll be portable ones too, Gia. I don't know where it's on. You go to the one side or left side or other. It'll be like a little circular two. Yeah, those things. Yeah, there's a silver one there. And there's a gold one that I have. So
You just put it right on top of your bottle.
well, it goes on two bottles.
That's
Okay.
what I was getting ready to say. That's
Yeah,
a
it
picture
spins.
that I see down here.
Yeah, they'll show the two bottles. So one go. If you put regular water on the top one, you turn it upside down. It spins.
Go
and
down,
structures it.
Robin, go down. Oh, yeah. So you have the two bottles, but they're showing you that gentleman down at the bottom. He's showing you them stacked.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, how to do it or something. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
yeah. So that's how it works. And then it's mimicking nature. And the gentleman that created this, Robert Goulet, who was just a wonderful guy, he's a scientist for 30 years. He's done hundreds and hundreds of experiments on this. And what happened was a group of scientists asked him to do if they made a challenge for him, said, can you permanently structure water? And he's like, I don't know. Because a lot of devices out there don't permanently structure it with a negative charge. It might last 3 days, 2 days, 4 days a week. I don't know the numbers, but scientists, this is like 10 years ago, they asked him, I'm going to give you an assignment. I want you to permanently structure water. So he did. He was able to permanently structure this water in a pattern that retains its negative charge. And negative charge is one of the most important things for your body. When your body starts going into a positive charge, the cells, you start to possibly get, I'm using the words possibly, contribute, because I'm not saying causal. And this isn't medical advice. This is just information. It might cause problems. When the cells start going to a positive charge, that's when disease may start to develop.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you about, in addition, do you do or talk about anything around grounding?
Sure do. What do you think, Robin? Come on.
I'm assuming that you do, because when you're talking about
a lot of
positive
things.
charge and, discharging that electricity out of your body, grounding helps with that, does that?
Well, I can say this to the audience. One of the things that we're trying to do, like the three of us had a wonderful conversation at Hack Your
Yeah.
Health. And what really, okay, I'm gonna tell you what I said. All right. I
What
said,
did you say, G? I don't
I
remember.
said either he is like really smart or we just met a cuckoo bird. I did. And it's like I said, but the stuff that he's saying, Robin, about like water and stuff, and so we're trying to regurgitate what you were saying, like back and
Right.
forth to each other. It's
Yeah,
like,
hold on. So basically, it's only been out for a couple of months, and Chris, my publicist, you need to talk to Carrie. Hopefully, you can talk to Carrie. She sent him a book, but I need to be able to speak to people. No one knows who I am. I'm just a small town guy from Northern California. When I need to be out there sharing this on stage, because this is so people don't all these things. I'm not a scientist, but I put all these things together in such a way that's a revolutionary concept. And Chrissy said this the other day. It was hilarious. She's like, "You're like Henry Ford, who created the car."
yeah,
Because people could have kept using faster horses, but he thought, maybe I should make something with an engine. So what I'm doing with this model is I'm just revolutionizing the way this model is basically, I won't say all you need to know, but it's a really good blueprint to help diagnose yourself, And so, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, let me put those back up really quick, and then we're going to pop
yeah.
that question up.
Yeah.
So,
People,
one of
hold
the
on,
things that we went across was in the book, there's the red here, and he's saying that at the top where it says chronic disease, place
Mhm.
your disease in that box,
Right.
and then you can turn around and see.
That's
You can
it.
see how it's just pretty much interchangeable. But
Yep.
then there is the green,
Yep.
right?
It's
And
that
there
simple.
Yeah, and there is your optimal health. Wow.
Let me ask you a question, ladies. So
Mhm.
are there people in the chat asking questions or not
Yeah,
right
we
now?
get
We
ready to
have
hit you
one
with the
question we're going to bring up.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
okay.
I know this is something that you wanted to
Oh,
talk.
yeah.
Yes.
This is really fascinating. Now,
But wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let's do that question really quick because it's
Yeah.
on water. You
Yeah.
see it? Go
Yes,
ahead.
I see it. I'll pop it up.
Okay. And then we'll put the arm up.
Okay, so Simpson's here. Hi, Simpson, and hi, everybody. We really appreciate you guys being here in the chat. We have well water, a lot of minerals, healthy to drink, tested every couple of years for nitrates and some bugs. Can't remember which ones they test for.
So, yes, and once again, it's yes, you can drink that. If it's well water, is it structured? Yeah, because coming from the ground. I mean, how do I say this? How structured is, I don't know. I mean, that's all, because structured water always changes. It depends on where you are on the planet, right? So yeah, it's good to drink. Would I buy one of those devices and help to structure it more? Yeah, because whatever you can do to make it as good as possible, right? And the energetics of those devices, all those things. Yeah, it's so I guess that's the answer. The better, the more you can structure it and respect the water. I know that sounds woo-woo, right? But it's about that respect. And well, let me say something about that really quickly too. Is that, and this is going to really freak some people out, but the consciousness is in water, and there's been studies. Emoto, this guy, Japanese science guy. I don't know if you guys seen those. Remember those studies where he talked to water, and he said, "I love you," and he froze it, and it came out this really beautiful pattern. Have you seen that?
I did see some of those kinds of things where they talk to in various ways, and wow.
And misshapens. If you say, "I hate you," it misshapens. That's exactly what's going on in your body. Now, why is that important? Because
that is like, wait a minute. I am like, that is making me feel so emotional.
I know.
This is how we were in Texas talking to him.
Because the negative self-talk, when we say out of our mouth various things about ourselves.
It's destruction of water.
Oh my God, that's
mind-blowing.
There's life in water. It really, really is. It's like, man,
water's everything.
Y'all need to share this. Look, you need to save this. I'm not.
People better buy those. I mean, they don't have to, but those MEO devices and everything on my recommendations page is so critical in today's society we're living in. It's not even funny. And so
I just have to ask a question, because you keep saying that your mom is like such a big
stepmom.
proponent. Your stepmom. She's a huge proponent of this structured water device.
She's obsessed.
Can you tell us a little bit about why is it that, what is it that's so great about it? What is she seeing happening that is making her so obsessed about it?
So when I was writing the book, it's funny, when I was writing the book, quick story, I was writing the book, we were driving, and I said, Mom, I'm writing this book, and I said, I'm going to put structured water like in the third or fourth chapter, the structure where she goes, Ben, you can't do that. Nobody knows what structured water is. You're going to lose people. I said, Mom, I'm telling you, water is that important. Besides breathing and sleeping, water's next. So she was totally not on board. And then now every day she apologizes to me. She's all, "Oh, you're right about structured water." So why is she obsessed? Because we went, me and my stepmom, we went to a water conference in San Diego in April, and Robert Gurley was there, one of my mentors that made that device, along with a lot of other people. And It's called the hydration stomach. And people have no idea about the power of water. And it's remarkable. So quickly, we were talking about Emoto and those experiments. Why is that important? Because there's a really wonderful lady named Veda Austin. Put her up right now, because she deserves the respect. She has done thousands of experiments on water and its consciousness. She's done stuff where she's taken the song Stairway to Heaven and froze water in a petri dish next to it. Guess what was in the water when she froze it?
A stairway.
Yep.
Oh, what?
Aren't you glad you guys had me on?
Aren't you glad we stopped and talked to
had.
you? Look, aren't you glad we stopped and talked to you? And look, we won't talk about you ranting and raving, but yeah.
we got to make this a regular. We got to make this a regular segment, ladies. I got to come on like once a month or something.
Okay.
Look at her.
Yes. Okay.
So she's a wonderful human being, but if this doesn't convince people, nothing will. But she's done thousands of experiments. She asked her cat. This is going to blow your mind. She asked her cat, and I'm not sure I have all this right exactly, if it wanted to go in or out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And she has some water next to her, and she froze it. In the water was the words "in."
What? No, that's crazy.
People watching this.
Listen, energy. No, really, energy is something else. That cat. I'm not saying like
because the water's communicating instantaneously to everything and everybody.
Yeah.
People are calling their friends that go, dude, John, you got to come in and watch this guy Benjamin. What's he talking about? People are kind of coming, flocking into their computers, going, what is this guy talking about? I've never heard anything like this in my life.
Okay, so let's go to this really quick.
Yeah.
We're going to do this, and then we're going to do the glasses, and then we're going to have to come back again. Go ahead.
Yes.
Talk to us.
This is an arm, obviously. All those red things, blow it up if you can.
No, that's it.
Okay.
As big as it. Okay.
Oh, okay. So people would see that thing. It looks like a bunch of like braids and like almost like a mesh network. And I saw this in the body exhibit in Las Vegas, in the Luxor, and it was fascinating. When I saw this, I was like, "What is that?" It's an arm. Okay, I thought it was fake. All those red things are capillaries and blood vessels.
Mm-hmm. We are so wonderfully made.
We are.
Basically, yes. It's a miracle. That's 1 million blood vessels and capillaries in one arm, or more. I can't count them all. Why is this important? When you have neuropathy, put that back up again, please. I think people need to really watch that. When you have neuropathy, I'm 55. People have neuropathy. They have tingling in their fingers, their hand, blah blah. All these different problems. Why is that? You're damaging all those little capillaries. How are you damaging them? By everything on the red side. So the inflammation, the stress, the dehydration, what it's doing is it's causing those capillaries to be destroyed.
Wow.
Because there's a glycocalyx layer. And remember that I talked about the glycocalyx in the book? That layer is so important. That senses everything in the cell, around the cell. And when you cause dehydration, you also damage that glycocalyx layer. Then the red blood cells. Well, the red blood cells are, obviously people know what red blood cells are. They have to deform to get into these capillaries because they're one red blood cell thick. If they can't deform, they can't get in there. What caused them not to be able to deform? Everything on the red side. Inflammation, sugar. So what it does causes inflammation. It causes the glycation of those red blood cells. Then they get like sugar coated. You've heard of remember I talked about book the A1C levels, the hemoglobin, H1C, HbA1c, the measure your blood sugar, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
When the blood vessels or when the red blood cells are glycated, they can't deform. If they can't deform well enough, they can't get into those capillaries. That causes more inflammation. So also what happens is, and I only figured this out a couple of years ago, but the only things that nourish cells are capillaries. Let me and doctors will know this. The layman might not. So the big veins and arteries in your body, right? Those are never meant to be breached at all, ever, because nothing comes out of the big arteries into cells. Make sense? They're like a freeway.
Okay.
The capillaries are like the streets that feed all the houses. So even the heart, the lungs, even the big aortas and the capillary, or the big veins and the arteries and your coronary arteries, and all those, they have what's called a vasa vasorum, which has their own little capillaries feeding itself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so the point is that only capillaries feed cells, and at the end of a capillary, it has little holes in it, and those holes basically let nutrients into the cells. There should never be holes or damage in the bigger ones, because they're never meant to be damaged whatsoever. That's why you have the glycocalyx layer and the structural water layer, because that keeps everything flowing in that blood vessel. When you get damage on that blood vessel, it shouldn't be there, because nothing should ever enter those endothelial cells which line the blood vessel, because you have the glycocalyx layer and the structured water layer. When you have chronic dehydration or things on the red side, possibly, you can damage that glycocalyx layer and damage the structured water layer. Then the red blood cells don't flow freely through the blood, because the structured water layer is also like Teflon. It's the most slipperiest thing possible. So a fish, what you're feeling on a scales of a fish, the outside of a fish, is the glycocalyx. You know, like fish slips through your hands?
Mm-hmm.
It's a glycocalyx layer.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Super slippery like that, because you don't want the red blood cells bumping onto the endothelial, causing friction.
Right.
That's
Yes.
absurd. So you have to maintain this super slick layer in every blood vessel, capillary, and the glycocalyx surrounds not only the capillaries and blood vessels, it surrounds every single cell, because it's also, remember in my model, or my picture of the cell city, the glycocalyx, remember that picture? It's the satellite. Pull up those pictures. Oh, you can't. The glycocalyx was that satellite system. Remember how I wrote in the key, the glycocalyx is like a satellite system.
She's gonna pull that up. But while she's doing that, I want to hit back on, because we probably only answered 4 questions, so you're coming back.
Yes.
Talk about the glasses while she's looking for that picture. Talk about your glasses.
Yeah. So what are the glasses doing right now? So light is the most important thing. We use photosynthesis just like plants do. People are like, huh? What's that mean? Yes. Plants use light, sunlight, sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Also minerals from the soil. That's their nutrition sources. Okay. So what do we use? Our mitochondria are photosynthesizers. They use sunlight, minerals, and water. Right? So sunlight, why is light and red light and blue light so important? Because in nature, there's a spectrum of light. In the morning, you have a lot more red light, and then it's like on a graph. And in the middle of the day, you have red light and blue light, and then at night you have more red light. It's on a spectrum on purpose, because the blue light causes a little bit of inflammation, but when you have the red light with it, they balance each other. Okay. So when we're on a computer, that's when we're wearing these glasses, and this necklace is EMF. We can talk about it the next time we guys meet. But the imbalance of the blue light is causing probably, and I don't know this for a fact, but contributing to all diseases on the planet.
Wow.
Because it's all synergistic. It's like piling one thing on top of another.
So it's another case of overconsumption, like everything else, right? Where we're overconsuming fruits, and we're overconsuming vegetables, we're overconsuming.
I would say overconsuming
and donuts and bread, When am I supposed to wear those glasses?
Hold on. I won't say over-consuming, ladies. I say it's more of it's an extra stress on the body.
Okay.
Mm.
So the more stresses we put on the body, the worse off we are. Remember I write in the book, there's something called adaptive stress and chronic stress. So
I
if
have to
you,
go back and read all
yeah,
over.
no, it's okay. It's a lot in there. If you have chronic stress, that contributes to all the problem, all the top box on the red side. Adaptive stress is beneficial. That's why when you do high interval training, and that's what I do with my trainers, is high interval, trainings, and I don't do any kind of aerobic, long-term stuff, because chronic stress contributes to problems. Adaptive stress causes growth and beneficial results. So if you eat, and I'll be the first to say, I eat a couple vegetables here and there, a couple, some fruit. I'll have some honey, local raw honey. Because also, before I don't want to I'll forget this point too. The mitochondria. This is really important for people to know. The mitochondria know where you are, and this relates back to light. It knows where you are in time and space.
Hmm.
Let me say that again.
Yes, that's good. Say it
Please
again.
do.
I will say it 5 times if I have to. Remember to write this on your, remember I write in the book, tattoo these things on your forearm. Remember I said those? You might want to tattoo this on your forearm. The mitochondria know where you are in time and space. What does that mean? It means you want to eat local stuff, because the sunlight and the energies of whatever's around you gets transferred through light into the mitochondria and the water that the mitochondria is making, because water stores all light and information. The mitochondria know where you are in time and space. They're that's how intelligent. Well, it's miraculous. So back to light. In the morning, I do this every morning, and someone wants to start to lose weight or get healthy. Start your day walking in the morning sunlight for 10, 15 minutes. Get the sunlight, right when the sun comes up. You need that light in your eyes.
Yes.
Without glasses, because these are the red light ones, but no glasses, no nothing. Get that red light in your eyes, period. What it does is it starts to produce cortisol for the day. And cortisol is actually an anti-inflammatory when it's in small amount, anti-inflammatory. But when it's chronic, it's inflammatory. Got it? Okay. Oh, in the sunlight, in the morning light. So you get I've said so much. I'm losing my mind. So you get the cortisol starts. You get nitric oxide production, which lowers blood pressure. You lower your blood pressure, and that's when the angle of sun's about 30, 10, or 20 or 30 degrees. You start to lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, build vitamin D from the UVB rays, build gut microbiome. It's because the body's on a circadian rhythm clock.
Yes. Yep.
When you get them, so you're starting your clock.
Ben, you are so freaking electrifying. It's like I'm gonna set my clock. I now want to take a goddamn walk.
I've been doing it for the month. I've been doing that every day for the month of July. Yeah.
Wait, Robin, Gia, let me ask you a question. I just want to ask
aerobic exercise. Look, they said I should be happy because I have talked against, but I literally.
Am I the most interesting guest you've ever had?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to brag or boast, but
I want you to keep this title. We're well past our hour right now. One of the reasons why I want to close is because what you said so far is really good. And I don't want people to see 2 hours and say, oh, I ain't got 2 hours to watch that. I prefer small bites, and they end up eating this whole steak that you're giving them.
Right.
Because like I said, there's so many questions we didn't even get to.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I have tons more. I
know. This is
information in my brain. We can talk about regenerative agriculture. Yeah. Absolutely. But hold on, before we go
ahead.
Have people, and I do make money from it, but they get discounts, if they go there. it is imperative they go to that recommendations page and start clicking on there and buying stuff, because I'm telling you, it's what's the word? You have to do it in today's society. The grounding, you have to get the grounding products. You have to get the water thing. Oh, I didn't even mention. Hold on, before we go, we can talk about this in the next podcast though. But
when we get off here, we're gonna reschedule with you while we got you here.
Yeah. But before we go, let's just say a few things that they should do before we have our next podcast. You need to keep your mouth shut at night and nose breathe the best you can. If you have sleep apnea or you can't breathe, do your best to breathe through your nose and clear it up in the daytime. And if you put a little, those mouth strips that I have on my website, you're not going to die because there's a hole in it. You're not putting duct tape on your mouth. But I think that's one of the key, besides all the other keys, this is one of the major ones. You have to keep your mouth shut unless you're talking right now, or eating. You don't have this is imperative for preventing or helping to prevent, once again, issues.
All right. So I just want to say that Benjamin's website is ultimatehealthmodel.com. It's scrolling at the bottom. Everybody go and take a look at this. And then there's this recommendations tab where we're talking about, I'm really very interested in structured water because I want to see what are the amazing benefits of it. So, and I do see that you do have earthing products on here. So we definitely talk about that, but we definitely want to have you back for sure. This has been very, very interesting, mind-blowing in some ways. What?
Absolutely. I appreciate all that. And also, once before we go, Chrissy had sent a book to Carrie, and I met one of Carrie's team at the Hack Your Health. But if you could pass a good word to him, because I think what I know, and I think him, me being in the movie, not to brag or boast, but I think it would be really cool, because this is stuff that he talks about carnivore diet, like you guys talked about with him, whatever, last week or whatever. But he does not talk about light and all these things that are so synergistic and important for healing humanity. So just put a good word in for me, because I like Carrie. I don't know him personally, but what I've seen of him, he seems like a really nice guy.
Oh yeah. My antennas is up because you can only speak nice about him.
Chrissy sent out a book. He's going to read it, and then you guys can email and say, because if you haven't read it yet, say, Carrie, you better read Benjamin's book.
Okay.
Well, for me, I think one of the reasons why I get so excited on the inside is that it's the water. Look, first of all, I've been drinking water. Now, this joker might not have structured itself, but it's doing something on the inside where there's a genuine excitement that if I was frozen right now, they can go in and read a whole bunch of words, because it's like, oh my God.
That's it. That is true. That's exactly.
Oh, I know, because it's one of those where I'm looking at the time and I'm like, but now that we've given everybody a taste of you, now when we turn around and say, hey, we got Benjamin Smith coming back on. For those that wasn't on here, this is in his book. These are actually inserts from his book where we took where the word chronic disease is, and we placed your disease in there, and you can see he's showing you your lifestyle, your negative lifestyle factors, and what is it that this is what you want to do here. And then we showed the website, we showed the other page, we got it scrolling across the bottom. Can you guys get familiar with him, please?
Let me mention one thing really quickly before we go, though, too. That's gonna leave it like a tidbit for the next podcast, where we're gonna have a lot of viewers. But let me say this really quick, because this is going to make people go, when did this podcast? The heart. What does the heart do? So remember I said that the blood vessels do this, right? Well, the heart, it does pump blood, but that's not its main focus. What the heart does, it's a hydraulic ram. So it opens up like a hydraulic. It's like when a door opens in a building, you feel that rush of air come in. So what it's actually, that's the main process. It does pump it does contract. When it contracts, what it does is it's the muscle is it's a bunch of muscles together. What they do is every time your heart contracts, it spins like this. What do you think that's doing, ladies, after our talk?
Making the water spin.
Yeah, it's making the blood spin. It's vortexing the blood to structure the blood, create matter, create energy, create life.
And that's why you're saying if we help structure the water prior to, then the heart does not have, that's less work on the heart and to go, and you feel so much better.
I gotta stop breathing so much, ladies. I gotta stop breathing so much and get out more.
No, you need to stop calling me out live on the screen. Tell me, do I remember that part in the book? And I'm like,
no, I know. I was
going on in my brain right now.
No, what I need to do is
I'm gonna be ready for you. You gonna have a quiz when I.
That's okay. I can answer it. I'm glad we went on because it was really a lot more comfortable this time. And anybody you can reach out to in your network, because you know a lot more people than me. I mean, me and Christy have been reaching out to all kinds of people, but to be on, really like, I'm on with. Remember Dr. Kiltz?
Yes,
I see him next week.
That guy, I just met him at the conference, the nicest guy.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
I'm on with him on Tuesday. I'm so looking forward to
it. Oh my God.
Perfect. Wait a minute. 5:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning?
No, it's at 1 o'clock Pacific time, but it's not live like this. It's taped.
Okay. He does a great job. He does a great job. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I actually will see him this Saturday, a week from today. I'm going to ask him about Benjamin.
Yeah. And then plus Ken Berry. I really love Ken Berry stuff. And there's so many people that if you could reach out, because now that I know, and I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm so knowledgeable about this stuff. It's so revolutionary. I just like to share my ideas and help people.
Okay, well, I'm going to. Are you familiar? Did you know about this?
But yeah, I want to be a speaker. So get your influence.
Okay, well, right now they got the speakers, and it's this weekend. So, do you want to meet me here?
The what?
You want to meet me here?
Where is it? It's in
Orlando.
It's going to be in Orlando. But here's
this weekend.
Dr. Kiltz will be there, and I'm going to actually talk to Dr. Tony.
Chrissy reached out to him. Yeah, okay. So hopefully he'll get back.
I'm going to corner them for you.
Yeah. So could you, Gia, is there still tickets? I didn't even know. I forgot about that. Is there still tickets for that?
I believe so. And if you use Keto Cookout, KETO Cookout, all of that one word, you'll get a discount off your ticket if that's what you want. But yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go. And that's this. So it's Saturday now. So it's a week from tomorrow on Friday or what? Saturday.
It's August 1st through the 4th. I'm actually only gonna be there Saturday though. I'm leaving home Friday. Go down, spend the day Saturday there. Sunday we're headed back. I got so much to do. But I needed to see these people, so I'm on a mission when I get there.
If I show up, which I'm going to now, you can introduce me to some of these people. I think
I sure will.
Yeah, I'm over in the Bay Area, so I would just fly out there. Probably for the whole thing. Is it a couple days? 3? How long is it?
It's 1 through 4.
Oh, it's 4 days. Okay.
I'll give this to you I'll get this to you when we get off of here. Okay. So this is something, and then they also have the Keto Palooza. That's October.
Dr. Berry's going to be at that one, I think, right?
Yep. Dr. Ken Berry.
Do they have all the speakers for that, you know?
Huh?
Do they have all the speakers for that?
I'm not sure. Sure. You need to reach out to Autumn Weathers, but yeah, check out the Keto Palooza website and see. Mm-hmm.
And I'll give this to you when we get off as well. As a matter of fact, there's a website that you can go to, and we'll talk. What is it, Robin?
Keto Palooza. I don't know.
The website that Carnivore Leo gave us that you can go to and see all the events.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That's what we're gonna do. Who knows?
Gia, Robin, there's one in Do you guys know about the one in San Diego in August? You're not going with that's with Chafee and Dr. Paul Mason and a couple people. Do you know about that one?
It's
No.
probably on the website. We're gonna pull it up.
Yeah, it's when is it? It's August. It's August 14th. It's in San Diego. But I know Chafee is going to be there because I was looking at that one. Is it? I know it's San Diego. San Diego, like low carb conference, something like that. Was it August 15th or something? I don't know. What's it say?
I don't know either. What? Somebody in the comments. It's Keto.
Here it is right here. Let me share. Let me just share my screen here. Hold on a second.
Are
I
you
think
looking
I
it
found
up?
it.
Yeah, because I can't think of what the dang on thing is called. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Low carb
events.
Low carb events. That's it.
Yep.
Christy, if you're still in the comments, make sure you go to this because there you are. It's there, and you can put
I see that one. Yeah. There's but the one I see the one in San Diego. Oh, it's because you haven't got down to 15th yet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, low carb San Diego. Yeah. You guys aren't going to that one?
No, we're going to be on a cruise.
I'll be on a cruise ship. It's my 20-year anniversary.
Nice.
Robin and some other. Look, you can come to that too. We're going to be on a cruise ship celebrating 20 years of marriage, and it's also we're going to have other carnivores on there.
When's
I
that?
love it. Yeah.
When is that cruise?
When we get on, Robin?
It's August 16th through 19th.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know what? Maybe I will. You know, send me the link to that cruise. I'd love to see you guys again in person. My birthday. It gets my birthday's August 19th. I'll be 55, unfortunately for me.
Happy birthday.
I just turned 60. You all right?
Well, you look like you're 30. You look like you're 40, Gia. But that'd be fun. It's my birthday.
Look, that's that water. That's that water.
Yeah.
There you go. Birthday's on the 19th. Send me that information on the cruise too. That'd be fun.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to do that. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're going to get off here and we are going to reschedule Ben. We appreciate you guys. And you listen, this was good. This was good. And until next time.
Bye, everybody.